Didn't talk about anger, so I want to kind of keep that rolling for a little bit. And so today I really want to talk about what do you do when you're angry, okay? What do you need to do in order to decrease your anger? And so, in other words, how do I diffuse myself? And so there's several ways. There's many ways actually. I'm going to talk about a few to help you out, and also two different kind of situations you'd be using that out. So the first thing is breathing. Just taking that deep breath. Deep breaths is your first skill in order to help you decrease your anger. And the reason why that is because, and I mentioned this in other videos, is simply because the way your brain and body work is basically this reptilian part of your brain with your brainstem. It basically has recorded all this information over time. Whenever you get tense, whenever you get anxious, whenever you're in survival mode or fight or flight, and they've added freeze. So fight, flight, or freeze, but I'm gonna go with fight or flight for the most part. What happens is the reptilian part of your brain is just shooting off, ready to defend itself, okay? So what it's telling the body to do is just pumping blood, it's pumping adrenaline from your brain to your extremities because it needs you to run, right? Because it's going back to 10,000 years ago when we need to run from a saber-toothed tiger or we need to fight the saber-toothed tiger. And that's what's going on. So the first thing we need to do is be mindful of, and I mentioned this in other videos, be mindful of what your body is telling you. It is going to tell you where you're at on that anger meter, right? And so are your thoughts and so are your behaviors, right? So big thing that you can do is recognize that when you're in the event, my emotions are starting to go up. And when I do that, your body is automatically producing all these endorphins, right? It's automatically producing adrenaline and cortisol and all that, and making your blood flow faster, and your heart's pumping faster, and your lungs are breathing in faster because it needs to get oxygen to all these extremities. So how we start cutting that off is simply by taking a deep breath. And that's what we're going to do. And you can do that in front of people, or you can do that when you need to take a break and not even be around the situation at all. Now, I know what the temptation is going to be. The temptation is going to be like, all right, Kevin, we'll try this. Fuck that, I'm not doing that. Nah, I'm going to give it to him. No. Now, the fact is that you at least attempted to do it shows me that you can do it. So that's good news. So if you at least get that far, I'm happy. All right, because again, that goes back to what I said last week. We go from a 3 to a 4, right, where we're making our fuse longer. But here's the thing. I want you to get good at, I want you to be able to do it for a longer period of time. I want you to lengthen that fuse, and this is how you do it. And you do it by telling your body there's not a saber-toothed tiger in the room. That your coworker is not a saber-toothed tiger. That the person in front of you that's slamming on the brakes is not a saber-toothed tiger. That your significant other is not a saber-toothed tiger. That your kid that spilled a drink everywhere and it's going to stain the carpet is not a saber-toothed tiger. That's just a ton of anxiety that's coming in at you at one time, and there's a whole bunch of other flood of emotions that are going on. And so your job really is to take a step back, and we take the step back by telling our bodies that it doesn't need to go in defense mode, that it doesn't need to protect itself. And so we do that by taking a deep breath, because if you notice, whenever you get upset, what happens? You get tense, right? And so whenever you get tense, your body's saying record. So when your kid spills a drink, record. It's everywhere. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, blah. And then we get in our emotional mind, it's over with, right? And we wind up saying and doing things that we normally wouldn't say or do. So again, one of your big key takeaway here is breathing, and you take a deep breath, and you do this several times, and you're being cognizant of the breath coming in. I notice my chest rising, and then I notice my chest falling. And that is also what that's doing. It's a mind trick, because I'm also telling my brain, what I'm doing is I'm taking away all the stimulus from my thoughts about the event and the situation to my breathing. All right, so that's number one.